I was watching a video earlier today about this girl that had anorexia, and it was a very, what country are you at? I'm in the United States, and um, yeah, I have drive, that's for sure. I'm very self motivated, but that was difficult because I've had to overcome multiple eating disorders, and I don't know that it's even right to say overcome because I'll always have them. And I haven't counted all the eating disorders that I have, but they're actually recognized eating disorders. And for someone like me that has such serious eating issues, to finally lose 110 pounds and keep it off is nothing short of a miracle because my odds were pretty much zero. And I need to start talking about that more. We're talking about it in my videos because it's something that I kind of squashed down in my mind. I don't like to think about it and really, but I need to if I can help other people who have eating disorders. Um, yeah, I have binge eating disorder. I'm a compulsive overeater. I have nocturnal eating syndrome, meaning I awaken in the middle of the night and I just open my eyes and I have to eat and I can't stop myself. So I've had to resort to some pretty drastic things to keep myself from binging in the middle of the night. I also have an obsession with food and I don't know why. I always feel like I'm hungry. It just goes on and on and on. So I had to figure out how in the world does someone like me not only lose weight but keep it off when they have so many profound issues driving them and compelling them to just eat. That's all I really want to do is just eat, consume food. And it took me over 30 years to figure out how to overcome all of it. When I say overcome, it will always be part of my makeup, my chemical makeup, my personality, my brain chemistry. But I've figured out tools that enabled me to, and again, I don't want to say overcome, but deal with them because they'll never leave me, unfortunately. So I think I've just been kind of embarrassed and ashamed, and that's why I didn't really talk about it because I feel like I don't know that it. I just don't like to talk about it, but I need to so that I can help, what possibly help others. Thank you. So how is it walking on the beach? That's what I wish I could be doing. That's my dream is to live on the beach. Just walk by the ocean every day, swim in the ocean. Let's see, what's my speed? I'm not going fast enough. I've chosen this view where my fitness journey, I'm walking through, it looks like New York City. It's making me feel kind of dizzy looking at it. They make it so lifelike. People, I can't tell what you said. I can tell it says today at the end. People, something today. Hi, how are you? I don't want to take glasses to the gym and I can't, the writing is so tiny. I could do this thing where I look through my, did you ever do that as a kid where you held up your fingers together and you looked through the little hole so that you could see things? I wonder if I can put that there. Oh, I almost turned it off accidentally. I turned my music off. Ugh. But this YouTube video I watched, somebody sent me about this girl that overcame. Again, she didn't really overcome. She was anorexic and she almost died. As a matter of fact, I learned today that a person dies every 62 seconds from anorexia, which I thought was, I just couldn't believe it. I didn't know that many people still suffered from, I just don't think about it. Why would I? You know, I have the opposite of anorexia. And, but it was a really heartfelt story about this guy and his girlfriend and how he didn't recognize and know that she had this very significant eating disorder called anorexia. You know, the thing about anorexia with eating disorders, people like me that were morbidly obese or that are never, people just are, they have so much, what's the right word, not contempt, but they feel like people that are overweight are lazy and undisciplined, and that's just not true. But whereas with the anorexics, they have compassion for them. And in reality, they're all mental illnesses, unfortunately. And but when I was really heavy, when I was in the 250s and just 200s, people were disgusted by how I looked. And I was treated poorly because of how I looked. And that contributed to my poor, low self-esteem, how others treated me because I was huge. I wore a size 26. And that's extremely, I had to go to a specialty clothing store to buy my clothes because I was so big. I couldn't buy clothes in a regular department store. And anyway, and it's not that I think that people should have compassion, but they don't understand that people that are heavy have serious issues they're dealing with too that are just as profound as people with anorexia or bulimia or food addictions, which I have food addictions too. So anyway, I had to go to great lengths to control all of my food issues, really unbelievable lengths to control myself. But when I promised myself that I was going to lose weight no matter what, no matter what it took me 3 years to lose 110 pounds. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And accomplished I've accomplished some things. But it was because I was going against my own brain. And that's very hard to do. And I did it myself without any help. I had help for years, people trying to help me, MDs, PhDs, groups of all kinds. But none of it really resonated with me. I don't think anybody really understood how many food issues I had or how it just completely controlled my mind. And I was so ashamed and embarrassed about not being able to control how much food I ate. Um, Thank you. I'm glad you're, oh, thank you. But one of the ways that I deal with my food, my brain, and my compulsions to constantly eat, and I don't want to eat fruits and vegetables, unfortunately. I want to eat processed foods. That's what makes my brain feel good. But it just makes, I don't know what it does. But one of the tools I use to deal with all my eating issues is I work out and lift weights. And it has the same effect on my brain that eating ice cream and chocolate and cookies does. It releases those endorphins in my brain, just like the food did. And if I can just get myself out the door and get to the gym, then I'll be okay. It's just hard to make yourself always go. And I have a gym in my house too. But, well, I mean, I have a lot of workout equipment actually. But it's still hard to make myself do it. But but because I've made it such a habit and part of my routine, I start to feel uh, I guess you'd say antsy or restless when I don't work out because I've conditioned my body and my mind to expect a workout. And that's how you make significant changes in your life and habits. You have to, it's hardest at the beginning when you're first starting, but if you can just figure out ways to motivate yourself and keep going, once you've done it for about a month, it becomes ingrained and it becomes a part of your identity and how you live your life, and you start to miss it. So if you can figure out, and I want to help people figure out ways because I've done all the work ad nauseum trying to figure out how to cope with all of my eating issues. And it wasn't until I was in my mid 40s that I finally was able to figure out not only how to lose weight. I mean, I could lose weight, but I always gained all of it back. And it wasn't until my mid 40s when I really hit rock bottom. 3 kids, a pretty abusive marriage. I was wearing a brace so I could walk. And oh my gosh, I had so many things going on, so many obstacles. I had given up my career. Anyway, I'm just saying, I really didn't have a choice. I had to make the decision that if I wanted to live, that I had to make drastic changes. But I had to do it slowly so that I could tolerate it because I knew this time I had to make it stick. I had to be able to be, I had to let my brain accept this new way of living. Well, yeah, that's a whole different story, but thank you. And I'm not saying these things to brag. I can always hear his voice saying, nobody cares about what you think. And just, anyway, I'm not saying these things to brag. I'm saying these things to let people know that if someone in as dire straits, rock bottom as I was, I had to have my foot reconstructed and my ankle twice. Like I said, I couldn't walk. I couldn't even walk to try to lose weight, literally. And food was my only source of joy. So, and it was my only coping skill. So the gym, and you don't necessarily have to join a gym. You can just go walk. Um, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading what you said. I don't have glasses on, and I don't take glasses to the gym. If you wrote in caps, I could see it better. I'm sorry, I can't see what you said. I'll take a screenshot. But the secret, or not, I shouldn't say secret, one of the keys for me was to do it very slowly. When I finally, in my mid 40s, was able to make profound changes, I had to make them so slowly because I was very rebellious. I didn't like to feel deprived. I didn't like to feel like I was missing out, that other people could eat what they wanted, but I couldn't. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. You're very kind. But by the time I was in my mid 40s, I'd been on every diet under the sun. I'd even had a lap band, which is weight loss surgery. There's a band around the top of my stomach, but I had it removed about 5 years later because it didn't change my brain. It only changed how much I could eat. And I threw up all the time because nothing would stop me from eating, not even a lap band. I still ate tremendous amounts of food. Anyway, I did hypnosis. I did Jenny Craig, Overeaters Anonymous, Weight Watchers. I read hundreds of books. My whole life was geared and focused on losing weight for many, many years. And I felt like a complete failure because I just couldn't overcome my own mind and I how I used food for everything, absolutely everything in life. And oh, when I think about all these things, it makes me want to cry because I went through so much to try to lose weight for so long, and I just wanted to be healthy. And I didn't want to be skinny. I never wanted to be skinny. I just wanted to be normal. I just wanted to be able to buy clothes in a department store and not have to go to an over or a plus size clothing store for women and not be told I was a 2-ton tuna and fat bitch and all of that by my spouse at the time, and to shut my pie hole and all the other abusive things he said. And it's really hard to overcome, when you hear things like that for years, even though I knew that the things that he said to me weren't true, it still starts to sink into your subconscious mind. And I still, to this day, hear some of the things in my mind that he used to say to me. And I have to actively fight that in my mind. So, um, well, thank you. I mean, I'm not the only one, I know, but it can be done. And you have to want it more than anything. And you have to want to save your life and recognize that you are saving your life and that you have to make a decision. You have to make a choice. At least I did. I was dying. I had fatty liver disease. I was constantly sick. I had asthma. I could hardly take in a breath. I couldn't even go walk. I couldn't take my sons trick or treating because I couldn't walk. I mean, it was horrible. And it was not my identity. It wasn't how I thought of myself at all. It was weird when I would look in the mirror and see this huge person, but that wasn't how I felt inside. But yet I couldn't change. Oh, I do. Lately, I've only been doing 20 minutes of cardio because of my hurt foot. But, and right now, this is hurting my foot. But normally, I just do 30 minutes of cardio. But the key to me for successful weight loss and maintenance is lifting weights. That is absolutely the key. Because I lift weights, I'm pretty muscular and I can eat more. And I still love to eat. Nothing will ever change that. But I can eat more. If I told you what I weighed and the size I wore, you wouldn't believe me. I remember getting on this forum about 5 years ago, and these women were arguing about how tall, what size somebody wore. And they were saying, well, you can't weigh that much if you're a size 4. Well, yeah, I could. It's because I'm muscular that I can weigh that much and be a size 4. That's why. But I weigh 30 pounds than most women that are a size 4. Now, right now, I'm more of a size 6 because I have put on a little bit of weight. But I weigh a lot for the size that I wear. People are always surprised. But it's because I lift weights. And it's fun. If you can just get used to it and listen to music that you enjoy and lift weights and make it a priority in your life, then you will be successful. But just doing cardio, that's not going to do it. That's not enough. And there's actually some negative, not negative, but when you do cardio, you really need to, I've read a lot about it. There are certain kinds of cardio that are better for your body. For instance, what do they call it? Flat butt syndrome from jogging. And you should do extra cardio. Like right now, I should have this at an angle, like I'm walking up a hill, so it works my glutes. Um, but I don't because of my foot injury. But I used to do just the Stairmaster, but then I tore my meniscus in half, So now I just do the elliptical, or I'll do the treadmill sometimes. But if you're older, especially, you should try to do cardio that contributes to your muscle growth and helps lift everything versus pounding. And over time, it does add up. So I know so much about it, but it's hard for me to retrieve it when I talk. I have to be reminded of a lot of things, and then I say, oh, yes, and then I have a lot of information to retrieve. Hi, Desiree. But I will eventually make a video about, I mean, that's my real, I see so many people on here that talk about losing weight, and none of it really helps me because most of those people have never had profound weight issues, nor do they understand what it's like to. I'm a very obese person on the inside, and every day I still struggle. Every day I want to just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. And I don't know why, but that's just how I am. I've been like that since I was 11. And so I've had to figure out ways to distract my mind, take my mind off of eating. And it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And it can be done. If I hadn't decided I would never give up, I would have given up. And after 30 plus years of trying, I'm surprised I didn't give up. But I have a strong will and wanted to experience life at a normal weight and not be morbidly obese and see what it's like. And it's been so different to live life as a normal weight versus being severely obese. It's been very different. And I don't know, many people have been fat most of their lives and they don't lose weight until their mid 40s. That's kind of unusual. I lost 110 pounds. And I had lost weight many times before that, but I never could keep it off. And I never lost that much. I think the most I ever lost before was like 50 pounds, maybe 70, I don't know. But it was always massive amounts because I was so fat. I mean, I literally lost and gained thousands of pounds. And that's not good. But I've read so many times that if you yo-yo diet and your weight is up and down, you'll always have problems and you'll never be able to maintain a weight loss. Well, that's bullshit. I'm a living example. Thank you. I'm a living example that it's never too late, that it doesn't matter if your weight has been up and down, and if you yo-yo dieted, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you do right now, and it is never too late. Never. Hi there, how are you? But if I believed all the things that I read, I remember after I had skin removal surgery, I read this article that talked about was talking about fat cells and how when you become obese, your body produces more, and your body always, you can never get rid of all those extra fat cells. They're always in your body, and your body always wants to fill them. And I remember when I read this article, it was an NIH, I mean, it was a true scholarly article, and I became frightened and upset. I know that sounds stupid, but we're talking about my whole life and having weight issues. And so it was very profound to me. And I remember I had to stop reading this article because it upset me so much, thinking that I shouldn't have been able to do what I did. That's basically what it was saying. And I thought, no, I'm not going to let myself think that. But what you think is so important to your success. And if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Most people have heard that, and it's absolutely true. It really is. Just like if you think you're old, you're old. If you think you're young, you're young. Now, I mean, of course, there's a lot of nuances to that, but there's a lot of truth to it too. So, anyway, I've been on this treadmill long enough. My foot hurts, so I need to stop. I hope I've helped somebody or reached someone. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye.